Oyejide Boluwatife Omotoyosi. I'm a corps member currently serving at the Waste Museum located at Moniya, Ibadan, Oyo State. I graduated from the University of Ibadan, the first and the best, where I studied Agricultural Extension and Rural Development. I'm passionate about creating sustainable solutions that positively impact the environment. So my school life was interesting here, and it was also quite demanding. But the interesting part, in UI there are so many extracurricular activities. To the best of my abilities, I attended some, and also social activities. I was involved in a few, so that was like the interesting part for me. And for the demanding part, UI is a place where you go fire book, or like you are going to read a lot. You have to be very intentional about studying, because there's this popular thing that I and my friends say, that you have to read to pass, and as well you have to read to fail. So it was quite demanding, but thank God it all went well. And I'm also grateful that I met with people that positively impacted my life, my lecturers, my friends, people that were like mentors to me. So school life was on the good side for me, mostly on the good side. What piqued my interest in sustainability and waste management is thinking about the fact that the world is gradually becoming a dumping site, and as a result of this, what are we going to leave for the future generations? It's going to be catastrophic, and we need to start acting now. So, for example, in Nigeria, we generate millions of tons of waste every year. Even in Oyo State, per day we generate over 2,000 tons of waste. So that is quite alarming, and it is something that needs to be acted upon so fast. So at the Waste Museum, working at the Waste Museum really opened my eyes. It equipped me with the things that I need to know on how to actively manage waste. So in the Waste Museum, we practice circular economy, whereby the waste of animals is food to plants, the waste of plants is food to animals, the waste of human is food to our plants. So this way we operate on the principle of zero waste. And at the Waste Museum also, there's nothing called waste. Just like the way we are trying as much as possible to reduce waste to the barest minimum, we also turn waste to wealth. So we practice upcycling mostly at the Waste Museum, where we use our hands to create something good, something valuable from waste products. We use plastic, we use paper, we use tailor's fabric, we use used tires. Just like what I am wearing, this is actually from waste. This was made from paper waste and tailor's fabric waste, and I made this myself. So waste management is, like I said earlier, is something that needs to be inculcated into everyone, and it's piqued my interest because managing waste is going to help us with this global pollution of a thing, and it's going to create a sustainable future. So a typical day at the Waste Museum, we of course clean the environment. Then we also tend to plant, because we have the plant section, because apart from turning waste to wealth, we also consult for people with various health conditions, where we prescribe to them herbal medicine made from our plants that is best suitable to improve their health conditions. At the Waste Museum, we also have people who visit the museum, and we take them on tour around the museum, both inside and outside, and we show them things that we have made or created from waste materials, and they end up being so fascinated and wow that waste can truly be converted to wealth. We also go for conferences, workshops, seminars where we sensitize people about waste management and how to turn waste to wealth. We also make furnitures from waste, we make jewelries from waste, artworks from waste, name it. So basically, that is a typical day at the Waste Museum. So some of the misconceptions that people have about waste is that people treat waste as a disposal problem, when in the real sense it is really a design failure, because most of it is decided upstream before it even reaches the bin or the final consumer. Another thing is that there's also a belief that collection means resolution, that once a truck picks up our waste, that is all. But in the real sense, most of the times it just gets shipped elsewhere and becomes someone else's burden. Another thing is that food waste gets blamed on household, but a loss is even lost earlier, maybe during harvest, during transport, retail, and so on. So another thing is electronic waste, for example. It is being underrated, like it's a minor issue compared to plastic. And electronic waste is actually one of the fastest growing waste streams globally. And it is uniquely hazardous because examples of electronic waste are heavy metals, batteries, and the likes. And it is often unsafe when it gets processed in some places, and it doesn't get the same public attention that plastic bags or bottles get. So we also need to look into this. So coming to recycling, misconceptions that we have about recycling is that people think that recycling basically solves and takes care of waste problem, and no, it doesn't, because recycling actually only captures only a fraction of what is produced globally, and a lot of collected materials still end up in landfills, incinerators, or even exported because there's no market for it. So reduction and reuse do far more heavy lifting than recycling actually even does, even though recycling gets most of the attention. So in my own opinion, young people are actually probably the most underused resource in Nigeria's waste management story right now. And this is not like a nice sentiment, but structurally, Nigeria has one of the youngest populations in the world, and young people are disproportionately present in exactly the informal economic spaces. Okada riders, market vendors, students, social media creators, content creators, they touch waste every single day. That's a huge distribution network for behavior change that formal campaigns often cannot reach. They are also building things, logistic apps, fintech, delivery platforms. That same instinct could go toward waste. Apps connecting households to recyclers, platforms making informal waste picking more visible and better compensated, or simple scheduling tools for neighborhoods without reliable pickup. I would also push for treating waste as an economic opportunity rather than a charity cause. For example, plastic, electronic waste, and organic waste all have market value. Once someone builds the aggregation and processing chain, young entrepreneurs turning waste into building materials, compost or recycled products create jobs and shifts incentives in a way that people don't even litter. So another thing is that youths should inculcate the habit of reusing and reducing waste, because youth constitutes a larger percentage of the total population. So, and as a result of this, when we youths take it very serious, we will be able to teach our children, which is the future generation. They will also be able to teach their generation, so that way it becomes sustainable. Because recycling is not just the way. Refusing, reducing, reusing, repairing is also part of the process. So we should also inculcate these habits of managing waste. Yes. So Balancing work life, learning, and personal development has been quite easy for me because I found myself doing something that I am passionate about. So, yes, it is demanding, it is time taking, it is a lot of work, but because of my passion, because I'm passionate about it, that keeps me going, that gives me the strength that I need. And at the same time, time management has also been of help to me. I time myself, I schedule myself to do important things. If it is not important, I shove it out. So I have a list of how I plan my day-to-day activities so that I don't end up overworking myself. Okay, so the most interesting experience I've had working at the museum was actually the glow on people's faces when they see what we create using waste. Even for me, like working there has really opened my eyes to seeing that waste can truly be turned to wealth. And it is something much more even beautiful when we show people who visit that this is what we actually did using waste. It is most times even unbelievable for them, and then we show them that truly it can be done. Sometimes we show them the process. So that has been one of the most interesting experiences for me. So for me, honestly, I would point to organic and food waste. It doesn't get nearly the attention plastic does. But in many Nigerian cities, food and market waste makes up a huge share of what's actually generated. It is left to decompose in open dumps and later produces methane, contaminates water sources, and even drives a lot of odor and pest problems that people now later blame on waste generally without connecting it back to this specific stream. But it has one of the clearest wins available actually because composting and organic waste conversion are relatively low cost. It needs low-tech interventions compared to plastic recycling infrastructure, and it directly benefits agriculture, which is still central to a lot of livelihoods here. The reason is that it gets overlooked. For me, the reason I think it gets overlooked is I think it is less visible than a plastic bottle floating in a gutter. It is not dramatic. So it doesn't photograph well for awareness campaigns, but the actual environmental and public health cost is arguably higher. So I feel that food waste and market waste should um, be used as compost. And this compost that we're even talking about is also good for agriculture. That is a proper organic manure that you can use for your crops rather than even using the chemicals that even end up being hazardous to our health. So that's what I think. So for me, I would say that we shouldn't wait for a formal invitation into this space. A lot of the most meaningful environment work in Nigeria right now is happening in informal community level spaces where credentials matter less than showing up and doing the work consistently. We should build a body of work, not just a title. A civic appointment or a role at an organization matters, but what actually opens doors is being able to point to something tangible you made or led, like a project, a piece of writing, an event, a piece of art that shows how you think, not just where you have been. So, we shouldn't treat sustainability as a single lane. Some of the most effective people in this space bring something else with them, like art, law, finance, storytelling. And that combination is usually what makes the work distinct rather than a repeat of everyone else's approach. So, we should find peers and not just mentors. So, I would love to see waste treated as an economic sector, not a cleanup obligation, with real investments in aggregation, processing, and manufacturing that turns plastic, electronic waste, and organics into materials and jobs rather than something municipalities just try to move out of sight. I would also want formal recognition and protection for informal waste workers because they already do a huge share of the actual recovery work in Nigeria, and building systems around them rather than past them would be more effective and more just. And then structurally, I would like to see consistent funded municipal collection paired with real enforcement because a lot of what looks like public carelessness is actually a response to systems that don't reliably show up in the first place. If I had to pick one shift that would unlock the rest, it's this: moving from awareness driven programming to infrastructure driven programming. Nigeria doesn't have an awareness deficit anymore, it has an infrastructure deficit. So, closing out, I would like to thank the Aloe initiative for having me here. I am really honored. And if there's one thing I would want to leave with people, it's that Nigeria's environmental future depends less on more awareness and more on infrastructure and investment in waste management, in our local talents, in ideas rooted in our own culture rather than imported ones. That's the work I'm committed to doing at the Waste Museum. And I am optimistic because I see young people already building towards this. They just need more rooms and resources to do it in. I'm not saying that awareness should be scrapped out, but I feel like investments and infrastructure should also level up. Awareness cannot be up here and then investment and infrastructure is down here. So they should be at par so that it is going to be more sustainable that way. Thank you.